Today I'm going to show you how to change the timing belt on a 1.9 TDI with a Bosch VP44 injection pump. This particular engine is an ALH, but the process in this video is applicable to other 1.9 TDIs. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we remove the plastic inspection cover, which is held by 4 clips. Now for the tensioner for the serpentine, it's just a 16. Just use a 4.5mm drill bit to hold it in place when you have taken it back, and do it slowly so you don't destroy the dampener here. No need to rush. And there. I'm just going to slack this off to the side, like so. With the serpentine belt unstrung, we can remove the tensioner. Then we can remove the upper of the two timing belt metal covers. And the harmonic balancer. Then the lower metal cover. It is now time to spin the engine to top dead center. To determine where that is, you need to remove a rubber plug on the bell housing and align a mark on the flywheel to this tab on the bell housing. In my case, I do not have that mark on my flywheel because I have an aftermarket single mass flywheel. So I have marked my crankshaft sprocket instead. A bit of a cheat, I know. And in order to lock the sprockets in place, I have this timing belt toolkit. By the way, if you need this toolkit yourself, I have an affiliate link in the description below. Timing belt toolkit. And for the 1.9 TDI, you're supposed to use this one in here, as you can see. And now you just twist it until you can lock it in position somewhere here. And now that this is locked in place, we are now going to take this tool with these two bolts, which is going to lock the vacuum pump over here in place. And the reason for that is this cam sprocket doesn't have a keyway. This is a press fit, and they have done so because when you tighten this tensioner, you need this to be able to rotate back. And that's also why you have these 3 bolts, because this will also be rotated back when you tension it. So that's why we lock it in the rear. First up are the 2 nuts for the bracket that is fastened to 2 of the vacuum pump's screws. Then it's just 3 screws for the pump itself. This piece of metal goes into this slot here, and then you have locked the cam. Pretty neat, eh? So just in like so. And you don't have to tighten these more than finger tight. It's quite unnecessary. You may have to wiggle it back and forth a bit on the crank, like I'm doing here, in order for it to seat properly in the groove. With everything locked in top dead center, we can slacken the timing belt. Now that's loose, we can just ease this off a bit, or wait, no, this way. There. I'm just going to remove the idlers as well, since they give quite a bit of tension. And let's remove this idler as well, that way we slacken the timing belt off as much as possible. And now the belt is ready to slide off. Next up is to remove the large idler roller. And this is a 16mm. Oh, and I removed the tensioner off camera. Now we need to loosen the bolt on the cam sprocket. But leave it still threaded in. That way you have something for the puller to push against other than the threads, which could damage them if you did. Let's try it again. Now it's time to crack the 3 screws on the injection pump sprocket loose. At this stage, it's time to remove the water pump. It's fastened with 3 screws. But I'm not going to show this part. My timing belt assembly were changed not too long ago. And the reason I'm tearing all of this down is because I'm doing a TDI swap into my Mark 1 Caddy. Which is also why you're going to see a new mount appearing on the front here. But it won't affect the reassembly, so we can just pretend it's not there. Anyway, let's get on with the aforementioned reassembly, starting with the lower of the 2 small idler rollers. And remember, when you reposition the tensioner again, this tab is supposed to go into this little square hole. And in my particular case, it has a tendency to want to slip out. So make sure that it is seated in it before you do anything else. Like so. Remember to not tighten this bolt until it's time for the tensioning to begin. Next up, the large idler roller. And the small upper idler roller. And now we are ready for the belt. Sweet! I do apologize for the lousy camera work here. I simply forgot to reorient the view for this. But you should route it like in this picture. Now when it comes to tightening this tensioner, you don't go by just twisting the timing belt. What you do is you see this little cut out here, there. That is supposed to line up to this metal tab. Let me show you. There, now those are lined up perfectly. Alright, so again, you twist this until it is perfectly lined up, then you tighten it. And that's it, tighten. Now you can tighten this bolt for the cam sprocket and these 3 small ones. And these 3 we're going to come back to when it's time to fire up the engine, because you adjust this with the VAGCOM. With everything regarding the timing belt tightened and torqued at the front, we can remove the locking plate on the camshaft in the rear. And reinstall the vacuum pump, which can be a little tricky, as you need to square up the drive slot properly. It can take a few attempts. In my case, I'm not going to torque these screws right away, because I noticed a small oil leak during the removal. So I smeared some RTV on the O-ring, and I'm going to let it cure a bit off camera before proceeding to fully torquing it. Time to button up the front of the engine then, starting with the lower metal cover. And then the upper one. Lastly, the inspection cover. Now that we have come this far, I must admit, I forgot to film the part where the serpentine belt and tensioner were reinstalled. So I decided to run the removal of it in reverse. The creepy audio is a bonus. I wish you the best of luck with your own TDI. Now get out there and start wrenching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, it will help me out tremendously. Oh, and subscribe if you want to see more.